Lessons from the Legends, Recreation for All. Recreation for all is not a platitude. It is an aspiration for a profession that prides itself in ensuring access for all Americans to the life-enhancing benefits of recreation engagement. Neither is recreation for all easily come by. Obstacles abound in the form of personal, social, cultural, economic, and environmental barriers that prevent all too many individuals from enjoying fully our nation's recreational bounty. Recreation for all, if it is to be fully realized, will come about only as a result of dedication, hard work, and perseverance by all park and recreation professionals. Professionals like American Academy for Park and Recreation Administration's legendary John McGovern. McGovern began his career working for the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. As he recounts his early years,
I worked in Parks and Recreation, and I knew when I was in college that that's what I wanted to do, but I was always interested in civil rights. And so as I started working for the city of Albuquerque and started running recreation programs for people with disabilities, we would increasingly get more complicated questions about the rights of the people who were in the programs. And I didn't do anything about it in Albuquerque, but when I moved to Illinois, I thought, I think I want to pursue this. So I went to night school at Loyola University School of Law in Chicago and earned my law degree. So I like to think of myself as a Parks and Rec guy with a law degree instead of an MBA or some other degree.
McGovern was drawn to Illinois because of its special park districts. Unlike other states where park and recreation services have to compete with police, fire, sanitation, and other mandatory services for scarce tax dollars, Illinois' special park districts have their own taxing authority dedicated to parks and recreation. In Illinois, it is also possible for special park districts to work together to form special recreation associations dedicated to the provision of leisure services for people with disabilities. This innovative funding arrangement made it possible for McGovern to pursue his dream of increasing recreation for all. McGovern's timing was fortuitous. Soon after his arrival in Illinois, the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed, forever changing the recreational landscape for people with disabilities. In his words,
that really changed the way we looked at inclusion and making facilities accessible, and certainly designing new facilities so that people with disabilities of all types could use them.
As he explained further, the importance of the ADA was that it resulted in a significant difference in the way people thought.
I think what we saw in the suburbs that I worked for, a lot of people with disabilities were more aware of their rights. And they had good, what I will call segregated recreation opportunities, where it was a person with a disability recreating with other people who had disabilities. They were very high quality throughout most of the suburbs. But an increasing number of families were starting to say, we want our son or daughter who has a disability to recreate with their siblings who don't have disabilities, or to recreate with the kid down the block, their friend. So more and more families started asking for inclusion.
Adding to the complexity of a burgeoning interest in more inclusive recreation opportunities for people with disabilities has been a rapidly changing clientele. The demographics of disability today are huge, McGovern says.
1 in every 150 kids today is born with autism. People generally live longer lives now, so it's not uncommon to find a 70 or a 75-year-old who acquires arthritis or Alzheimer's or some other health condition that's a disability. We also have the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Many more soldiers are coming back with head, limb, neck, and back injuries. And many of them are staying in the service. So this is having an impact on the military. But many of them are also going back home.
Taking advantage of his legal acumen to increase his impact on recreation access and inclusion, McGovern has elevated his professional involvement from the direct provision of leisure services for people with disabilities to influence legislation at the state and national levels. From safeguarding Special Recreation Association's taxing authority in Illinois to chairing the Access Board, an interdisciplinary federal committee established to create design guidelines to help communities meet ADA standards, to serving as president of the National Therapeutic Recreation Society, to establishing his own recreation accessibility consulting firm to assist city, state, and federal agencies in doing a better job of serving people with disabilities, McGovern has expanded his sphere of influence exponentially. Pondering his growing impact, McGovern concludes,
I'm not sure when it hit me, but sometime in the last year I realized that I really am a single issue guy. I'm about access and inclusion. And I value outdoor recreation, and I value aquatics, and I value tennis and sports and everything else. But I'm really interested most in access and inclusion. And it seemed like it was the right time to just focus on that. And I love legislation. I really like being an advocate for people with disabilities so that more recreation opportunities are available for them.
Reflecting on the past, McGovern thoughtfully concludes,
I think it's been a pretty remarkable change. When I started in Albuquerque, everybody was patronizing towards people with disabilities. We're here to help you. We're here to do things for you. Today it's not like that. I think today people realize, people in Parks and Recreation especially, realize that people with disabilities have a choice. If they want to learn to swim alongside a person who doesn't have a disability, we can make it happen. There are hundreds of departments across the United States that do this every day. So that's been a neat transition. I think also just simple awareness has changed so much. Almost everybody knows about autism. Almost everybody recognizes that we have servicemen and women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan with disabilities. And I think Parks and Recreation professionals are starting to incorporate this not as a special component, but as a part of the mainstream of their services. So that's really exciting to see.
Looking to the future, McGovern thinks the community is where the action will be.
Everything is moving to the community. Everything from dock-in-the-box health clinics to occupational therapists hanging out a shingle in Main Street. And there's no reason that therapeutic recreation can't do that as well. I think more and more cities are recognizing that this is an important service, a complementary service to provide along with aquatics and sports and community centers and beaches and everything else.
What lessons can we learn from AAPRA legend John McGovern? There are at least 3. First, follow your bliss. McGovern's interest in the civil rights of people with disabilities motivated him to attend law school so that he would be better positioned to make a positive difference in their lives. Second, elevate your aspirations. McGovern started locally and made a tremendous positive difference in his own communities in New Mexico and Illinois. Then, McGovern took what he learned and applied it to influence public policy at the state and national levels. He risked getting involved and dared to extend his reach. Third, as a single-issue guy, McGovern became an expert on that one issue and then transformed it into a rarity in our field, a park and recreation professional wielding a law degree. We need more people like John McGovern. We need more people who are passionate about parks and recreation, who want to apply that passion in service of their fellow citizens and the environment that sustains them, and who are united by a fundamental conviction that recreation is for all.